The silver tray felt heavier with each passing minute. I'd been circulating through the Riverside Yacht Club's grand salon for 40 minutes, offering champagne to my parents' friends and business associates. 200 guests celebrating my parents' 30th anniversary, none of them recognizing me as the daughter. Why would they? I was wearing the same black vest and white shirt as the actual catering staff. My mother, Diane Hartwell, had made that happen. I'm Jessica Hartwell, 33, and I'd made the mistake of showing up despite not receiving an invitation. I'd driven 6 hours from the state capitol, arriving in a navy cocktail dress, ready to congratulate them on their milestone. Mom had intercepted me in the lobby. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" Her eyes darted toward the salon nervously. "It's your 30th anniversary. This is a very specific kind of event. Corporate partners, investors, the Riverside elite. It's not really your scene. I'm your daughter. Your work is so niche. These people wouldn't understand what you do. They'd ask questions and honestly it would just be awkward." She'd called out to Elena, the event coordinator. "She can help the catering staff. My daughter Jessica has some free time." Elena had looked confused. "Mrs. Hartwell, we can't just." "I insist. Jessica is very capable." Mom had already turned away, smoothing her silver Armani gown. "Just get her a uniform." That's how I'd ended up serving champagne to people who'd known me as a child but didn't recognize me now. My father, Richard Hartwell, held court near the windows overlooking the marina. His commercial real estate firm had made the family wealthy enough to buy their way into these circles. My brother David stood beside him in his bespoke suit, already a junior partner at Dad's firm. He'd married Brittany, a trust fund heiress. They were the success story my parents showcased. I was the problem child who'd gone into public service. After law school, I joined the State Environmental Protection Agency instead of a corporate firm. For 8 years, I'd worked my way up to deputy director, overseeing policy and regulatory enforcement. My office had fluorescent lighting and worn carpets, not a glass tower downtown. My parents had never quite forgiven me. Champagne. I offered my tray to the Morgans, who owned luxury hotels. "Thank you," Mrs. Morgan said without looking at me. She turned to her husband. "Diane's daughter is some kind of government clerk. Can you imagine?" I moved on, face burning. Near the bar, Mom laughed with her charity board friends. "Yes, Jessica works for the state. Very modest salary, I'm sure, but she seems happy. We just want her fulfilled, even if it's not what we'd have chosen." My phone vibrated. I stepped into the hallway and checked the screen. A text from a number with the state government prefix. The sender ID showed the official seal of the governor's office. "Jessica, press conference scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Capitol. Governor will announce your appointment as director of the newly created Department of Climate Policy and Sustainable Development. Cabinet-level position. Congratulations. Be ready for media calls tonight after the embargo lifts at 9 p.m. Michael Chin, Chief of Staff." I read it twice, hands trembling. 3 months of confidential interviews and vetting. The governor was creating a new cabinet-level department focused on climate change, with a budget of $200 million and direct authority over state policy. I'd been in the final round but hadn't expected a decision this soon. Director. Cabinet level. One of the highest-ranking environmental officials in the state. I checked my watch. 8:47 p.m. In 13 minutes, the embargo would lift. I walked back into the salon, tray in hand. More champagne. Walter Preston, CEO of Preston Industries and one of Dad's biggest investors, called out. I brought the tray over. He took a glass without acknowledgement. "The environmental regulations are killing us, Richard," he told my father. "The EPA delays the new emissions standards. We need people in government who understand business." "Absolutely," Dad agreed. "These career bureaucrats don't live in the real world." "Your daughter works for the state, doesn't she?" Walter asked. "Environmental something?" Dad's expression tightened. "She's in a minor administrative role. Nothing significant." My phone vibrated again. Another text from the governor's press secretary. "Heads up, reporters have the story. It'll be online before the TV announcement. Congrats, Madam Director." Messages flooded in. Reporters requesting comment. Colleagues congratulating me. The Attorney General welcoming me to the cabinet. Mom appeared at my elbow. "Jessica, put that away. You're supposed to be working. I need to take this. It's important. More important than helping at your parents' party? Her voice dripped with sarcasm. Her phone rang. She frowned at the screen. Margaret Chin. I need to take this. She stepped away. Margaret. So lovely. I watched Mom's face change as she listened. The color drained from her cheeks. What? The governor's cabinet. She looked directly at me, eyes wide. Let me call you back. Around the room, guests checked their phones. The story must have broken online. A woman near the windows gasped. The governor just announced a new cabinet position. Director of Climate Policy. Some woman named Jessica Hartwell. Heads turned. Whispers spread. David pulled out his phone, then stared at me with undisguised shock. Walter Preston was reading on his phone. Jesus Christ, Richard. Your daughter. Dad grabbed his phone. I watched him read, his face cycling through confusion, disbelief, and panic. The room went silent, 200 guests staring at their phones or at me. Elena approached nervously. Miss Hartwell, there are reporters at the entrance asking for you. Something about a governor's appointment. Mom looked like she might faint. This can't be real. You work in some office. A cabinet director? I set down my tray. Actually, I am. Mrs. Morgan rushed over. Jessica. I had no idea you were being considered for such a prestigious position. The first director of climate policy. This is historic. You were serving drinks, Mom whispered. I asked you to serve drinks. Yes. Because you assumed my work wasn't important enough to warrant being treated like your daughter instead of hired help. My phone rang. The caller ID showed Governor Sarah Martinez Mobile. The entire room watched as I answered. Good evening, Governor. Jessica. I wanted to personally congratulate you before the circus begins. Are you somewhere you can talk? I'm at my parents' anniversary party. Wonderful. Give them my congratulations. Let them know how proud they should be. You're going to transform environmental policy in this state. Thank you, Governor. I'll pass that along. The formal swearing-in is next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Bring your family, we'll have space reserved in the front row. I looked at my mother, at my father, at the shocked faces. I'll be there. Thank you for this opportunity. You earned it, Jessica. See you tomorrow. I ended the call. The silence was deafening. The governor called you directly, Dad said faintly. We work together frequently. She selected me personally for this position after reviewing my policy proposals on industrial emissions reform. Walter Preston had gone pale. Industrial emissions? Jessica, my company is fighting EPA regulations right now. Overseeing environmental policy enforcement for the entire state? I smiled. Yes, actually, that's exactly what I'll be doing. A reporter appeared in the doorway with a camera crew. Ms. Hartwell, Channel 7 News. Can we get a statement? Elena looked panicked. No media was approved. It's fine. I turned to the camera, aware my parents were watching. I'm honored by Governor Martinez's confidence in appointing me to lead this critical new department. Climate change is the defining challenge of our generation. Your parents must be very proud, the reporter said. Are they here? They're hosting this beautiful anniversary celebration. I gestured to Mom and Dad, both frozen. 30 years of marriage. The camera panned to them. Mom's smile looked painted on. We're very proud, she managed. Mrs. Hartwell, did you know your daughter was being considered for such a high-level position? We knew Jessica worked in environmental policy, but she was serving champagne when I got here, Mrs. Morgan interjected, then immediately looked like she regretted it. The reporter's eyebrows rose. Serving champagne at your parents' party? Mom's face went crimson. She was just helping. How generous, the reporter said. From serving drinks to serving in the governor's cabinet. David stepped forward. Our family has always supported public service. Even though your father's company lobbies against the regulations Jessica will now oversee? Dad looked ill. I answered questions for 20 minutes before the yacht club asked the press to leave. As cameras packed up, guests who'd ignored me all evening suddenly wanted to talk. I excused myself. My mother cornered me near the exit. Jessica, I didn't know. If I'd known. You didn't know because you never asked. You assumed my work wasn't important because it wasn't corporate law or real estate. I asked you to serve drinks in front of everyone. Yes. You did. I pulled my coat from the closet. The governor invited you to the swearing-in on Tuesday. Front row seats. You're welcome to come. Of course we'll be there. I understand perfectly, Mom. You wanted me to fit into your world on your terms. But I built my own world instead. One where I actually matter. The society page the next morning read, "Anniversary awkward. Cabinet appointee served drinks at parents' party before promotion revealed." The political coverage was more generous, detailing my 8 years of accomplishments and the innovative proposals I'd be implementing. My parents called 17 times that day. I didn't answer. The swearing-in ceremony drew 300 people. My parents sat in the second row, not the first. I'd given those seats to my former EPA colleagues, the ones who'd mentored me and never once suggested I should be serving drinks. When the governor placed her hand on my shoulder during the oath, I saw Mom crying. Afterward, Dad approached. "Jessica, that was impressive. The governor spoke very highly of your work." She should. I'm good at what I do. I never realized the scope, the budget you'll control, the regulatory authority. $200 million and oversight of every major environmental policy decision in the state. But I'm sure it's nothing compared to commercial real estate. He flinched. I deserved that. I'm sorry. Mom joined him, eyes red. Can you forgive us? I can forgive you. But things have changed. I'm not the family embarrassment anymore. I'm the director of climate policy. I sit in cabinet meetings. I shape environmental law for 12 million people. If you want to be part of my life, you need to respect that. We do, Mom said quickly. We will. Good. Because next month, I'm keynoting the National Environmental Policy Conference. 5,000 attendees, international media. You're welcome to come. But you'll sit in the audience like everyone else, not asking me to help with catering. They both nodded, chastened. I moved on to greet the Attorney General, leaving my parents standing together, finally understanding what they'd failed to see for 8 years. I'd never needed their world. I'd built a better one. And the only tray I'd carry from now on would be the weight of responsibility for protecting the environment and the future of the state. The catering uniform was already in the trash where it belonged.